If you're back with Harrowings Live, the passing show, Hal Gill, your host. This is just a little bit of who, what, when, and where here in Washington, D.C. I see a lot of people about this hour on a Sunday evening. I'm heading down towards the Trader Joe's and at a Foggy Bottom. I'll get there eventually. I'm passing the Friends Meeting House along Florida Avenue Northwest, built during the time of Herbert Hoover being the Secretary of Commerce, I believe. He was a friend, and I think he probably had enough money to help out with this. We got a remnants of a rat there. Crosswalk. We cherish LGBTQI plus friendships as reflection of the inward light. How shall we celebrate that rainbow? QuakerDC.org. It's there. Be still and know that I'm God. Psalm 46:10. Accept the challenges of our chaotic and dangerous world with a sense of adventure, of gratitude that our time is now. Elizabeth Watson said that. QuakersDC.org. Again, advertised. Friends Meeting of Washington. May peace prevail on earth. I have that post there. Nice to have Lost Fives 100, Marissa and David Gross. You are regulars now, the passing show. And certainly appreciate that. We're looking up this road. Actually, I think I'll take this road because it's interesting to me. We're walking right behind the embassy of Costa Rica, I think, pretty soon. It's up there, facing S Street. And this little spur here, name I forget, is part of it all. Why do I forget the name of this street? Doesn't matter. Decatur, of course. And there is the Decatur apartment building, I suppose. Named after one of our naval guys, I believe, Stephen Decatur. And there's Quaker House. And there's another flag flying back here. I think this is a Thai ambassador's residence, maybe. There's something to do with Thailand. I'm coming up on, that's right. I'm coming up now on the Spanish Steps. So yeah, it should have some sort of labeling on it. Don't see the label. Well, yeah, there it is. Royal Thai Embassy Residence, right? That's the Thailand's ambassador's place. Really close to where I live. 2100 block of Decatur. Now we're at 22nd Street Northwest. And I'm just going to continue walking, I think, at this point. There's a little firebox over there with the little miniature fire engine. The Spanish Steps of DC. Our little park. Some folks cutting up there on top. And this part here comes down behind the Laotian ambassadors' places. They sold part of their property not too long ago, within the past year or two. Very densely planted with bamboo, as you can probably see. Kind of weedy back lot behind the Laotian ambassadors' places. Very pretty Mercedes SUV there. Some got new tags on it. It's a DC tag, no, Virginia. Yeah. Place over here, ceasefire now, they're looking for. Video surveillance, EcoCorp. on the Virginia license plate. Decorative trees along the way. Couple of mourning doves going up. Tree of heaven getting started there. It's like paper mulberry. So a lot of scrubby kind of weed tree growth along this section. And heard the back of one of these nearby is the embassy of Myanmar on faces S Street. Can't really see much about it. Oh, that's the back of it right up there. You can see the chimneys. And this section is the back of the, I think, the lots that make up Jeff Bezos' double mansion. There's a doorway in the embankment at some point. I don't know if it's the corner of his property or not. That may be actually the Irish embassy, or what was the Irish embassy up there. Yeah, I think that's what that building is. You up? And then we get to this rather modern-looking iron fencing. It's part of the backside of Jeff Bezos' double mansion, the former textile museum on S Street. A little different angle than what we usually take on these residences. Things have changed a little bit. This tree's been cut back a bit. I kind of chewed up there. They cut through it. This is a cherry. And, not sure what this tree is. Does it matter? Well, I'm confused a little bit. I think actually this here is that wall I was thinking of, which has some doorways and garage entrances into the double mansion. And there's the Wilson house. And then the Cameroonian embassy, other structures along the way. So backside of S Street on Decatur, making my way. Try to get a few steps in, a few more than what I've done already today. Trying to keep up because last Monday I put in well over 20 something thousand, 13.3 miles anyway. Yeah, this is definitely the back. And then we've got Metropolitan Police patrolling. Fig tree. Hi. And what else we got? So that's it. Yeah. That section there is the Wilson house. And this all is the back of Bezos' property. That would be the owner of them, among other things, the Washington Post. He bought that. I understand he's taken over the editorial board. Not sure what to make of that. But I don't think you can really trust the press anymore the way we used to depend on our journalists working for these outlets to report the news accurately without bias. Instead, you can depend on Substack authors like myself. Walk along and stroll and take in the passing shows. It's the Embassy of Croatia, just up there. Wendell Mansion's here. Somebody's got a little Pontiac Solstice cute club. Not very efficient, but cute. And I guess that's what counts. Again, we've got different embassies along the way to look at and just continue walking. Don't know where we're going to end up entirely. I had the idea to go down to Trader Joe's, and I was thinking going to the U Street one, but now I'm thinking of going to the one in Foggy Bottom. And got a bag on me so I can collect stuff that I want there when I get there. Might take a while because I don't really have a structured mark. I have a mind to take that. Washington Fine Properties. This place for sale over there, folks. Do you want to be my neighbor? This is the Embassy of the Republic of Haiti on this side of the street. So they've got themselves a new E350. And then we have what? Is this thing I forget? Panama? No. The Embassy of Chile. Embassy of Chile. Yeah. Except that center one's for sale of these 3 units. Kind of row townhouses. Let's say I might as well take the crosswalks. This place over here is the Egyptian ambassador's home. Really nice balcony, nice columns. Kind of wonder how much time it gets to spend there. But none of my business, really. Resident of the ambassador of the Arab Republic of Egypt. And we're going to go this way. For that walk-in. That's too sacred. So this guy's supposed to stop for me. Film that little Prius. And all these people. Making sure we keep an eye on who, what, when, and where in the neighborhood. Yield for pedestrians, folks. It was right on the circle. Sometime in the 70s, I have to look up the exact details. One of the ambassadors was blown up in a car bombing right on Sheridan Circle. Peru, I think. I'll have to check the facts. I've forgotten. It's a monument to Philip Jason, the first Korean American, a pioneer for Korean independence and democracy. The first Korean American, 1864 to 1951. Had a pretty long life. So 36 plus 51 is 87. Still up to 87. You know, what we do with our years is kind of important. We want to be good ancestors. The Latvians have a little free library here. And they've got a little book called Latvia Rising available. Yeah, Latvia Rising. Personal portrait by Gordon F. Sander. Holy Bible. Chairs of comedians of the 18th century. Other foreign language things. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. That's nice. So long and thanks for all the fish. Life, the universe, and everything. And the restaurant at the end of the universe. Some Douglas Adams novels are available for somebody to pick up. So if you want them for free, come by to the Embassy of Latvia. They've got them. Yeah. And they're really good books. Everyone should read them. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's a monument to Ataturk. Ataturk Society of America. There's Mustafa Ataturk's monument, 1881 to 1938 he lived. Not quite as long as Jason, as it turns out. But instrumental in shaping modern Turkey. This is the Turkish ambassador's residence. Across the street is what was the Romanian embassy, but apparently they've shut that down, much to my surprise. And here we are at Q Street. This little spur of 23rd can take me down along the edge of Rock Creek Park. I'm not going to cross it. Well, you know, there's a couple things I could do. One is to continue into Georgetown, double back around by the trade. And maybe I'll do that. Why not? Don't have to cross as many streets. There's one of our buffaloes on the Q Street Dumbarton Bridge. Dumbarton Bridge, 1912 to 1915 is when it was put in. Talks about the commissioners of the District of Columbia: C.H. Rudolph, J.A. Johnston, W.B. Judson, Chester Harding, O.P. Newman, F.L. Siddons, and Lewis Brownlow, as well as Charles W. Cutts. Glenn Brown was the architect, D.E. McComb, the engineer of bridges. So they put up these massive bronze buffalo alongside either end, both sides of the road, as Q Street makes its way over Rock Creek Parkway. Got some nice black walnuts growing on here. Love the smell of these things. It's really tremendously fragrant. Carry it along with me. Now, I was growing up, my grandfather had black walnut trees in his backyard. We got one in our backyard in 1977 when we moved into a house at Kings Mill on the James. Just sold last March. Help support my mother in her retirement home, which it should do for a while. My sister has put in a lot of work to take care of my father's estate and my mother's care. She is not competent to take care of her own affairs any longer. Memory is fading and can't really concentrate, but she's living. And I'm going to go down and visit her on September 13th if all goes well. I sure hope the Who doesn't schedule for in that time period in Philly. They had to postpone my concert on August 21st, which means that I'm waiting to hear when they are going to reschedule. Apparently, they're really tearing it up out there on the tour now, though, now that everybody's healthy. Sadly, somebody got sick that day enough that they realized they had to postpone and they couldn't go on. And they canceled an Atlantic City concert the next Saturday night. It would have been the 23rd, I believe, of August. So that also will have to be rescheduled. Hang on to your tickets, says hold us. So I am. And I go on and often do. The passing show, again, is just trying to bring you a little bit of raw journalism. Who, what, when, and where. A lot of metadata about stuff. Did a little exposition with a team of AI-enabled characters, emulating Christopher Hitchens and G.I. Gurdjieff, Terrence McKenna, Robert Anton Wilson, Buckminster Fuller. I think there was still one other, and I keep forgetting who all I had. But they weighed in on what they thought of the passing show and harrowings and how I'm doing it and what's happening as I go down. G.I. Gurdjieff, of course, couldn't forget him. And yeah, if you don't know who those characters are, that you will not be in the minority, I don't think. But if you do, weigh in. Let's see how we're doing here. 6 people have joined at one point or another. I don't know if you're all still with me, but we're walking up to Georgetown on Q Street Northwest, Washington, D.C. We've crossed the Dumbarton Bridge on Q. They're now passing some of the apartment buildings. We'll sort of bridge the gap between Sheridan, Colorama, and my home, base there in Sheridan, Colorama, and Georgetown here, where we are now. We're coming up on Dumbarton House not too long from now. I still got my car over at the Exxon at the intersection of Wisconsin Avenue. And we might just do that. We might just walk down Wisconsin Avenue. I've got 92% power, so that's pretty good. And see what's what. A chap here doing a delivery, I think, on an electric scooter. Another electric scooter right behind him, talking on a earbud. I just talk into the microphone of this phone. I don't bother with any of the fancy contraptions much. Really raw, unfiltered, unedited, low production value, bounces along, and we take in what we got to see. There's some folks over there going into Sheridan. There's an old graveyard back there, very dilapidated. And apparently a lot of African Americans were buried back there and wasn't kept up well. So the gravestones sometimes are piled up, not associated with the graves themselves. It's really kind of tragic what's going on behind this set of buildings. In my view, to need a place in this place, we've got a condo in there for sale, apparently. And let's try that again. Wibinson Dorman Architects have been working on that. Good friend of mine, Jack Brady, was an architect. His father was in the 100 Bomb Group that was featured in some film. It was on Apple TV some time ago, something about the air. I can't remember the name of the title. But in any case, his father was John Brady, one of the pilots who was shot down and spent a good bit of the war in a prisoner of war camp. Can you imagine? I have a hard time imagining. I was sharing an interview Bill Moyer did with a 68-year-old veteran of Omaha Beach some years ago when Bill was much younger. Oh, look at this. Another free library to look at. Samuel Beckett. Sandy Hook, Modoc. Yeah. Understanding Contemporary Ireland. Innovation or Revolution. Provence Francais. Yep. Georgetown Refuge. It's part of the Star Spangled Banner National Historic Trail. In 1814, this was the home of Charles Carroll family, friends of President Madison and his wife Dolly. Carroll came to the president's house on August 24th as Madison was returning from the defeat at the Battle of Bladensburg. Soon word arrived that Dolly should save, but she couldn't flee the city. Piling into carriages, Dolly family and servants set off for the relative safety of Georgetown, stopping to collect the family of U.S. Navy Secretary William Jones before arriving here. A kind friend, Mr. Carroll, has come to hasten my departure and is in a very bad humor with me because I insist on waiting until the large picture of George Washington is secured. Dolly Madison to her sister, August 24th, 1814. Escaped to Virginia. Soon President Madison sent a second message to his wife instructing her and Navy Secretary Jones to meet him at Wiley's Tavern, Virginia. Dolly's entourage fled west to safety, crossing the Little Falls of the Potomac River on Chain Bridge as the British arrived from the east. So you can see there a little map of this area. And Wiley's Tavern is out over here near Difficult Run that runs up by Great Falls. How about that? There's Charles Carroll. The Star Spangled Banner National Historic Trail reveals sites of the War of 1812 in Washington, D.C., Maryland. You can visit ChesapeakeExplorerApp.com or download the Chesapeake Explorer app. So, in the summer of 1814, the United States had been at war with Great Britain for 2 years. Battlefronts erupted from the Great Lakes to the Gulf of Mexico on August 24th, following their victory over the Americans at the Battle of Bladensburg, Maryland. British troops marched on Washington with devastating results. So that's been a while. 211 years ago, this August. By this time, Madison and his family were safely in Virginia, and they escaped capture by the British, but barely. Madison was a very small man, but a brilliant mind, father of the Constitution, many would call him. And, like so many, got his training in my hometown of Williamsburg, Virginia. Cut his teeth down there at William and Mary, and went on to other things. Actually, I think he might have actually attended Princeton, come to think of it, where later another Virginian president, Woodrow Wilson, was president at Princeton before becoming president of the United States. So we have a deep connection. Kew Gardens Apartments over there, Dumbarton House. This panel was erected by the National Society of Colonial Dames of America. Dumbarton House is the headquarters of the National Society of Colonial Dames. The site was part of a tract called the Rock of Dumbarton, patented in 1703 by Hal Gill. The house was probably started in 1799 by Samuel Jackson, completed in 1805 by Joseph Norse, first registrar of the Department of Treasury. And he sold the property in 1813 to Charles Farrell, who named it Bellevue. And it was purchased by the Society in 1928, restored to the early federal period, named and opened to the public in 1932. Formerly blocked Q Street and was moved to its present location in 1915. So it's not on its original foundations. Oh, well. Love the walnuts. So I like to walk around and read historical markers. It's been said that I have a face for radio and maybe a voice as well. Some exercising that while I walk. Get some exercise, put some steps down, and be home probably in the early evenings. Lynn might have turned in already by the time I get there, the way she usually does. But, it is what it is. One of these places was the home of, what's the guy's name? Is that going to come back to me? Author and reporter for the Washington Post, very famous, along with Carl Bernstein, Bob Woodward. Yeah, I think he may still live here in one of these houses along Q Street, one of the ones we just passed, perhaps, seems to me, or one of the ones we're coming up on. Not this one, I don't think. Saw Bob in the Safeway up on Wisconsin Avenue one time. Didn't stop to talk, but, it is kind of nice to have connections like that. In fact, tomorrow, 10 a.m., for about 20 minutes or so, I'm going to catch up with David A. Andelman of Andelman Unleashed. He's a journalist as well, 80 years old now. A Knight of the French Legion of Honor, thanks to President Macron and his journalistic exploits since based in Paris for a bit. This has been based all over the place. Southeast Asia, Eastern Europe. Understands a lot about culture and how others perceive us. How others perceive us. This is like a bigger philosophical question, right? The way I see others has a lot to do with my experience, personal experience, lived experience, my qualia, if you will, using the term that Jay Venera has sort of acquainted me with during our couple of conversations on Harrowing's podcast a while back. So, that said, if I see a person, I project an awful lot of my own inner perspectives onto them. I will assign motivations that I can identify with to that person. And I will then, pretty much shape my vision of that individual to be what I project onto them. Don't know anything about them, really, in this case. Now, the other person might correct my assumptions. I might get to know them, which I'm trying to do. Try to get to know Skip Healy a bit today on our podcast for a couple hours. We had a conversation. I pulled out a couple of the stories we talked about before, had him sort of reframe those. I think it was a pretty good conversation, very interesting to me. And I don't know, then I give it to everybody, and you get an opportunity to project onto it. And here we're walking by a dog finder. In case of fire, please rescue the dog. Like that. Look at these final homes. A lot of upkeep, keeping these guys in repair. It's not cheap to own an old home. I know that from my sister's experience with her place in Glendon, Maryland. I don't know if y'all know Glendon, but it's up the topography from Baltimore. And a lot of people who were rich used to buy places up there to go in the summers so they weren't down in Baltimore itself with all the humidity and lowland problems. Much more pleasant up on the hill. So I could go on. And I just split off from this whole idea of projection and how others are not known by us. Even if we do know them well, we haven't walked a mile in their shoes. We should be slow to judge and even maybe suspend judgment entirely and have a charitable view towards all. That's what I've been having difficulty with lately. I'm not feeling charitable towards a number of people as a group, not so much as individuals, but as a group with whom I've been associating pretty much every morning, practically, that I was available to do so for a period of, I don't know, been a while. There are like 400 of us if you go to our spreadsheet of our phone list, 480 or something like that. It's a big number. But I just decided I'm going to dissociate myself from most of them, except for the ones that I have a number for. And I sent my gratitude list to like 167 numbers. Some of them are in that group, some of them aren't. I got some responses from some people who are in that group, some people aren't. And that's good. So I'm staying connected. I'm not disconnected entirely. And I'd love to sit down with people and talk to them one-on-one. I'd love to have company on the walk, like I'm having company with you guys now. And good evening, Hal from John Marshall. Good evening, John Marshall and Entangled Mind and John Harshman and Richard Hogan. I saw all these guys join the Bold Insight joined, and I've already addressed Lost Vibes 100, Marissa and David Gross. So of the 8 of you, besides me, who are along for the ride as Heroings goes through Georgetown at 30th and P Street at the moment, where was I going with that? Let's see. Well, it's my projection, right? I've found myself to look at myself, my part. There's an old G.K. Chesterton saw that I need to look up the source for someday, in which apparently some magazine or something asked a number of writers, hey, what is wrong with the world today? G.K. Chesterton replied, dear sir, I am. And I'm riffing there off of Tom Shadyack's movie, a documentary, after he had a fall on a bike and concussion and resulting depression, suicidal depression, that I am what's wrong with the world today. Me and the way in which I am in the world is what's wrong with the world today. The world has no part in that much. It's me and the way I act in the world. Here was big-time movie director, so he had a beautiful palatial home. He ended up downsizing quite a bit after this experience and as he made the documentary. And he suggested that we all needed to look at ourselves and how we interact with the world around us. And, not just to people, also to species, also all of the different forms that life has taken over the centuries. Thinking about the Cambrian explosion now. And there's so many species that have been and are no longer. We're one of them that could be no longer fairly soon if we're not careful. I mean, we keep doing things. We keep acting in the world in ways that may seem expedient, but in the long run are harmful. I remember having my class in German, um, reading knowledge, working on a little story, like a journalistic piece called, in translation, Cadmium is Everywhere. And when you think about cadmium, an element that is in paint, it's in many different forms. It is also in rubber, and these tires, they get ground slowly into bits and pieces, but never really leave the environment. They could enter into our systems, poisonous. Just one thing that's out there. When I was a kid, leaded gasoline was mainly what you found. The high octane gases that don't cause your engine to knock weren't so much available. So you had tetraethyl lead added to the gas. So a fair amount of lead was going out into the environment all the time. And I think that you will find that IQs have dropped a bit because of that. Also, our educational system is very different than it used to be. So generally, our ability to navigate the world is not what it once was. I could go on and often do. And I am. Folks walking. I'm walking. We're all trying to make our way from dawn to dusk. Look at this house and its yard, its porch. Really beautiful. 1318. On 30th Street. Is that the number? It was 1318. What's this one? 1316. Yeah. On 30th Street. That might have been, yeah, that's about right. It might be one of the places, maybe this is 1314, that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has bought. I know that he has bought a house recently. 1312. This one has some work going on, so it's actually fairly likely that might be Kennedy's place there. Anyway, my wife knows the number. I'll have to have her look it up. Between N and O, or maybe it's between O and P. I don't know. None of my business, really. But I'm about 2 degrees from our Secretary of Health and Human Services. I know his cousin on site. We've had nice chats. Having the opportunity. But yeah, everybody's doing the best they can with what they have. If they do better, they do better. I think we all need to work hard on trying to level the playing field a bit, making sure that others have what they need. And yeah, it's not even right now. I can tell you that. This is 1248 30th Street. Sidewalks very uneven. Finding it interesting to walk on. Yeah. It's a really nice house. Extensive, huh? There's the door for 1248. Yeah, 1248 30th Street. Wow, that place is huge. Which is right down to here, I think. Air conditioner going. Driveway. I used to have a garage in DC, I tell you what. And this place, much smaller, tucked in next to it. Everything's pretty tight. 1232, 1234, and onward. So what else do I want to talk to you guys about? Every cent we spend is a vote for the kind of world we are co-creating. When we buy anything, we are necessarily stimulating the economy, fueling connections. And one thing leads to another, as the fix once said. So we need to be conscious. We need to be aware. We need to really think about what we're doing. Think about the consequences of our actions. Aretha Franklin said it in the Blues Brothers so eloquently. Think. Here's 1224. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 windows across at the top, the second level. Very pleasant. And then it's got a little extension here from the main part of the house, it looks like. I don't think this is a separate house, or it might be. No, it looks like it's part of the same house. A brick section, and then the frame section. Clapboards with original, heavily painted over. 1218 here, and onward. So, this is the Andrew Fry house, circa 1880. Some folks in there sitting around the table, having dinner perhaps. 1212. Trinity monitoring. Basement level, at least. Immigrants welcome. At 1210. 1210 30th Street Northwest, the Andrew Ross tenant house was built by Andrew Ross in 1811, who acquired land in 1810 from Thomas M. Lee. The Foundation for Preservation of Historic Georgetown easement acquired May 2004. Oh, lovely. This one says the Ross and Getty House, number 1, circa 1810, Foundation for Preservation of Historic Georgetown easement acquired October 1975, accepted March 1976 by National Trust for Historic Preservation. This is a Georgian African American landmark as of 2020. So there you have it. Sotheby's International Realty. See what we got here. 8110 O Street, Northwest 8, number 809 is only $890,000. And then we have 1210 Van Street, 2325 Porter Street, Northwest. Beautiful building. Nice pool. Like $10 million. 1601 28th Street, Northwest is for sale for $8,500,000. 5 beds, 5.5 baths. 1524 33rd Street, almost $10 million. 6 beds, 6.5 baths. 3131 Chain Bitch Road is a latest modern masterpiece by internationally acclaimed architect David Jameson. Habitable art. Also close to $10 million. 6 beds, 7 full, 2 partial baths. 4201 Cathedral Avenue Northwest. Only $550,000, and it is 2 beds, 2 baths. That one's actually within my range. That's at the Towers, okay. Rear deck each garden, ideal for indoor outdoor entertaining. Upper floors include a luxury primary suite, multiple bedrooms, suites, office space, and ample storage. But the condo itself must be smaller than that. Part of an historic Evermay estate, it was a 5-bedroom, that doesn't make sense. So it's broken up out of that, I guess. 89, 60 million for 7979 East Boulevard Drive. $60 million. Who the heck can afford that? Riverviews, George Washington's original Mount Vernon estate. Oh, so it's broken out of Mount Vernon. Visit Riverview, reminds us while Washington boldly proclaimed. Okay. We could go on. Truist Bank across the way. I'd see them before buying any of those, that's for sure. It's the moon. We got about a half moon today. Straight down by the Potomac River. And now I got to figure out where I'm going. I think this way. No, this way. I've got the count. 18, 17. Not as fast as they are. That's okay. Sunset coming down. It's this restoration over Georgetown's call box. It was the restoration project. On this site, M Street, a road well traveled. M Street has always been heavily traveled. In 1795, this prompted Bassett to impose local speeding law. Illegal to gallop horses on M Street. 1634, things were quieter. Then Englishman Henry Fleet wrote of finding deer, buffalo, bear, and turkey in abundance in this area. Algonquin Indians sometimes made camp nearby. And in colonial times, this part of M Street was known as Bridge Street, named in the English fashion after local landmarks. And in 1755, the doomed British General Edward Braddock led his troops through Georgetown to fight in the French and Indian Wars. In 1781, during the Revolutionary War, General Lafayette marched on their way to help win the Battle of Yorktown. In 1789, George Washington stopped en route to New York for his inauguration as nation's first president. It was untouched by the Revolution. It was inundated during the Civil War with Union Army troops, causing many Southern sympathizers to cross the river to Virginia for liberation. At this town swarmed with soldiers, wagons, and artillery, which tore up the unpaved streets. Some buildings remain on M Street are among the finest examples of Revolution-era architecture in town. One of Washington's oldest houses is the Old Stone House just across the street, built in 1765. It's up there. It served as a residence or shop until 1953 when it was purchased by the U.S. government. The corner house directly across was built in 1794. Street grading and the 1870s required the addition of a story to the bottom of the building. That's interesting. Huh. All right. So we have it. I think we got time. Nothing coming at the moment. Debatable which way to go. I think I'll go this way. All up. So a little look into the windows as I'm passing. That's fun. Getting a little who, what, when, and where. Raw journalism as it happens. This is the state of people these days in Georgetown and where they're at, what they're doing, how they're dressed. Keep on moving. Linda Robert Hibbs has waved. Thank you. Appreciate that. Patricia Stevens joined. Millie, the Magnolia Observer. Enemies of Art is joined. Love your stuff, Enemies of Art. I'm not sure what that's all about. One of these days we need to talk. And if you want to come on the show, Harrowing's podcast, it goes for everyone, by the way, hit me up. Let me know. A lot of times I like to talk first before we get on, but sometimes that's not necessary. I did have one that sort of burned me a little bit. They scheduled and they canceled and they proved to be freaky and strange and probably mentally unstable. So I'm not above reporting things like that to Substack and blocking, which I will do too if people are rude to me. So I did that last night during one of my, if you happen to flip open one of my conversations in the late night where I was not on camera, but was conversing a little bit with Grok. That person was rude about AI pretending to be human. It's not. And if you think it is, you're wrong. But it can simulate certain things. Oh, great. Bridge Street books. Anything that jumps out at me. The real work, Adam Galpinick, that jumped out on The Mystery of Mastery. A novel. Arthur Miller, States of Neglect, On Being Me. This is Washington, D.C. Yeah, that's fantastic. I love bookstores. I must stay out. I have enough books. I have too many books. I summarized one of them today using Grok. That was fun. Then I had to critique its review. That became an article. and the comment is the actual summary that was first produced. I like doing that. It's fun. Sometimes it teaches me something I wouldn't know otherwise. I don't have time to really stuff into my brain. So it's like having a research assistant. That is a V8 bi-turbo Mercedes. It looks like a McLaren. It's gorgeous. This particular place, if you're unaware of it, is one of the fancier hotels, the Four Seasons, I believe. My friend Sophie, who wrote the Book of Angels, the best-selling Book of Angels, among other things, including The Art of Intuition and The Art Crowd was her first novel. Um, Love Alba, one of the more recent. I don't know if she's done much since, but she got to go over there to meet Bill Kreutzmann after running into him and finding out she'd never been to a Grateful Dead concert. And he couldn't take her, but they had a limo drive her over, and she got to spend the first half like up in the front, having not seen a Grateful Dead concert before. And then, she had backstage access and all. And then, lo and behold, Billy told her during the set break, "Hey, if you want to see me play, you're going to have to be up on stage." So she spent a second set on stage. And that's her claim to fame there with Bill Kreutzmann and his generosity. And I think that that's one thing that really came out of the interview that was done by my friend Holly with Reed Mathis, who played with Billy and the Kids. It's just how generous Billy is to other musicians and artists like Sophie. There's a construction project going on over there. And we're crossing Rock Creek, flowing down into the Potomac. We're looking at some cars along Rock Creek Parkway. It's very close to the Potomac. I'm heading over towards where Trader Joe's in Foggy Bottom is. I'm going to loop back up there, see if they have any ready veggies for Lynn. Get me some of those nice oat milk, almond paste, cocoa sugar, sadly, protein drinks. They got pea protein, I think, added to them, if I'm not mistaken. And, I need more of that. I need to watch what I eat. Unfortunately, there's too much sugar in those. So maybe I need to find something else that's better for me. But that's me. My thoughts for the moment, looking at the moon again, thinking about the moon a lot, thinking about planetary exploration and how we can use our robotics to do that with AI on board and basically inhabit our robots so that we can navigate and explore without quite the impediments that are involved. And it's a lot about distance too, that's the thing. We've got this speed of light constraint. But, our robotics can survive an awful lot, particularly if we build them robustly and build in redundancy and build in the ability to repair, self-repair. Give them the ability to mine resources when they detect them. Got all kinds of visions for how all this acts and works. And the technologies are here now. We just have to coordinate them. There's Cucina Italiana di Vittoria Testa. Is that right? Okay. And I'm getting close. I actually have to break across the road to get over to the Trader Joe's. It's off of L on 25th. As I recall, I'm crossing 26, I believe. So my crossing is up ahead. Got a small triangle park here, a couple of park benches, cicadas singing in the trees. So lots of species cohabitating with us humans. We tend to focus more on the humans and their artwork on the side of Papa John's there. Love Makes a Family, DaveThomasFoundation.org. And then we've got Play Defense with a Flu Shot. Marshall's Bar, Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints, otherwise known as the Mormons, I believe. That's the Milton A. Barlow's Center for the Church of Latter-day Saints. And here's Charmtag and the moon up there. What else is new? Oh, hey. AI and robotics are far better suited for space exploration than we are. Exactly. That's my point. Thank you, enemies of art. And, weigh in anytime. The reason, of course, is they're mechanical and we can inhabit them. You know what I mean? They can be like our avatars. We can put our consciousness into them, so to speak, and pilot them remotely. And we've already got drones here on Earth. Why not do that with our spacecraft? Man, then, on top of it, admittedly, when it gets out as far as Voyager, you got a problem. It's almost a light day out. Not quite, but getting there. And that's on my mind, too. How do you do something with that kind of time lag? 22 hours to get out to it, 22 hours to signal back. Have to be really patient. And there's my Trader Joe's destination. Every cent spent is a vote. So I'll be purchasing mindfully. And happy wife, happy life is also an operative principle. And I'm an automaton that way, right? I'm like a machine. And Gurdjieff would agree with me on that. So I'm piloting this animal, biological robot that I am. And I'm inhabiting it for now. And whatever I am, is a constantly shifting set of sensory input being managed and filtered heavily so that I don't end up injuring myself or anyone else. All right.
You might go in the house tonight. I might go out.
Let's see what we got here. A basket. I think a hand basket should do me as opposed to a whole cart. Got my bag. Is this spaghetti squash? It is. I saw delicata today. I should have gotten it. Darn it. Check the weight. So we have abundance here. We looked at a lot of the prepared stuff. They probably shouldn't. Aha! There you go. Just how much is fine. I think too. I just used up my last wish crystal cheddar. Pardon me. Sorry. Berries. Do they have ready veggies? No. It appears not. Darn it. Ready veggies are not to be had. There, parsley. Where? Caesar salad. Well, it doesn't look like it's stir-fry veggie mix. And that's it. Not ready veggies. I'm putting the pork sausage again. Pork chops. Yeah. Turkey. In fact, I just remembered something I probably have in the freezer still that I've not thawed. I should have thawed. I think I can't freeze it that long. That's the way it goes. It's the way the cookie crumbles milk prices and stuff. I didn't see it. I didn't see a price tag. It don't seem to have the kind that I usually get. So, wow. For gold apples, it's pretty good. So else we got organic black pepper pasta. Speed oatmeal cookies. Sea salt. You don't want this. Let's look. See. So you have to do it. Crackers. God, nice. And skillets are not here. Well, you know what? It's here, probably. I thought it's. No, maybe. Yes. Success. And skillet butterflies are to die for. So, die for that. And I think I can find up here one other thing. Yeah. Oh, go on. I should give it you seconds. Fruits. Pistachio nut meats. Pistachios. I get pistachios. Just one. I used to think maybe I like cheese. Anyway, those of you who are Kimmy Schmidt fans will know what I'm talking about. European grain seed bread. Danish flag on it. Had that. Anything tasty? I have to have no. Okay. The last thing I need, maybe, is everything you all notice some demographics. Wow. I think this one I have oils, confidence. Oh, yeah. Particularly fond of these. I think I'm fond of this. Well, same price. And it was. That's enough weight, I believe. Garlic powder got fusion. And then Eloite. Isn't quite pumpkin pie time. Got that, got that. It's Mary Melts. Overfit. So very good. I never dropped. And then it'll be done. Yeah, the one that's looking the one that the whole the rest of the best. I think you want to oh man. You know what? No, these are good. This is old blood. I don't need them. Well, good. Let's make sure we over there. Darn it. I was just about will be here. I think I'll find her. She's not finding it. Oh, yes, I am. One back of those. Well,
How bad?
Walnuts. It's working.
Love your work. Free soul joined. Okay, hello everyone, and peace, love, and meta. Hey, bathroom guy, you want to go live? Going to be walking out of here pretty soon. You can let me know. When I get out of here, I'll be willing to throw you in there for the mix. I'm doing good. I wonder if I could just put everything there.
Sure.
About or you can. You know, see whatever you spin it. Think everything fit. Just
Yeah, I just
good measure.
crushed it.
Now,
That would be unhappy. I thought they would taste as good.
we'll see.
4 more.
Trying to get my steps in today, and I thought I'd stop by and pick up a few things to add some weight to the water.
There you go.
Yeah, I think I got it, huh?
8:16. Now I'm gonna good. Anything liquid. Oh, yes.
That's the
Everybody's
truth.
been talking about getting their steps in today. It's
Thanks, guys.
stop.
Yeah, I managed to get like 13.3 miles last Monday.
Wow.
Then I didn't do a lot out there.
Are you sure?
A bit. A bit. Bus. It'll last a few more things. Keep the old heart ticking. See you later.
Thank you.
Right. Yep, no, 9:30. Okay, well, we got a couple hours. I can walk around and lather forever. So, hey, here we go. Let's see. Invite co-hosts. Where are you, bathrobe guy? Oh God, I got so many people in here. I'm not you. Oh no, there you are. You're invited. Come on board. So everyone, we have the bathrobe guy, special guest, and much vaunted raconteur. There you are. Come on board.
All right, let me mute you. There we go.
All right. You could hear me reflecting back. Okay, I got it. I was like, who's telling you to come on board besides me? Oh, it's you. I thought you were just echoing. And you were echoing me, so to speak. Okay, man.
I was echoing.
Can you see the view out here? I mean, this is an alley I'm looking up, but there's the moon behind me up here. There's like a half moon right there.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
a beautiful evening here on 25th Street, Northwest.
Looks it.
And
It's
we are
nice.
live with the bathroom guy on Harrowings, the passing show. So what's going on? What's happening in your world? What's new? What's popping?
Not much. Just chilling. I'm on Lisa Joy's porch
Oh yeah,
podcast every night now too.
Yeah, I've been seeing you
Yeah.
go on that. I don't know Lisa Joy, but I know a Lisa Joy, but it's not the same Lisa Joy. Is that her
Yeah,
full name?
it's such a great podcast.
Yeah, what do you talk
Yeah,
about? I haven't
as
tuned
far
in
as I
yet.
have you.
Huh? What's that?
I mean, it's such a really nice podcast. It's just really mellow. I mean, it's kind of why I like yours. It's just mellow. You're not yelling at everybody. You're just kind of chilling, strolling around. And
You weren't on last night?
like she does the same thing on her porch, like every night, like on her porch swing. And
Yeah.
we just shoot the shit, talk about whatever, and read some stuff. And it's
What
just
do you read?
kind of just stuff that what we've written. Like she gives us a one sentence prompt every Sunday.
Okay.
Then we write something up off that prompt, and then read it the next Sunday, and then we just read
Wow.
stuff we've written in between and whatnot, poems, whatever.
That's so nice. Are y'all like somewhere near each other, or how are you geographically dispersed?
No, we are definitely geographically dispersed. I think Lisa's in Missouri. Her co-host Julie is in Oregon. I'm in Vermont, so
Ooh. And speaking of
yeah.
geographically dispersed, you were actually tuned in for a bit anyway of Skip Healy and me. Skip's in
Yeah, yeah.
Switzerland making
Yeah,
flutes,
that was cool.
and you're doing a music thing. Can you tell us about that?
So I want to start a podcast called The Fractal Lounge where I spotlight other Substack artists' music. They can DM me on my Substack and let me know if they're interested, and then we can get together. Send me the if you have anything that you have already recorded or whatever, send it to me through an email. I'm collecting a bunch of them, and as soon as I'm kind of trying to get about 20 songs together, and then I'm going to start the podcast. That way I have enough to start the show, and
Excellent.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to do it. I want to do it like an old radio show, just play music and chat a little bit, maybe do some silly weather, some a little news thing here or there, have some guests on, take audience questions, you know.
Yeah, I'm sure probably during my walk and talk that day when you spontaneously dropped in like you're doing now, I talked about the Hour of Slack radio show.
Right?
The
Yeah.
Hour of Slack was a subgenius radio show. It's only recently stopped, I think, finally, after many, many years on
Hmm.
the interwebs. But what a hoot that
Right?
was.
Cool.
I miss it. Um,
Yeah.
what I want to go into, I did one time put some of my own singing online by basically going live with my vocal coach, Sonny Triple,
Mm.
who's a singer of some renown in these parts. And yeah, she's just a great human being. And I happened to, have some spare tickets and I put them out on Facebook's Jamily, it's called. And she
Hmm.
snapped them back when I was up in Philly. And
Oh
I
yeah.
had double booked myself for something near Philly and something near me in town here in DC, the Remain in Light show. And I had
Oh yeah.
also the tickets to like front row seats at the Lyric in Baltimore for Les Claypool and the Fearless Flying Frog Brigade. Are you familiar with Les?
Fearless Flying Frog Brigade. That's a mouthful right there.
It is. Have you ever heard of them?
No.
Okay. Well, Les Claypool was the guiding force behind Primus.
Oh,
Primus ring a
okay.
bell? Now, anyway,
Yes.
so Primus, let's play, and on, I don't know his rhythm or leads or what he does exactly, but Sean Ono Lennon is in the band with him in the Fearless
Oh,
Flying Frog Brigade. So I was kind of
no doubt.
excited to see Sean playing,
Hmm.
John's youngest son. And
Yeah.
I thought that would be pretty cool. I've been following Sean on Twitter for the longest time, or now X, right?
Right, right,
I
right.
don't know
Yeah.
if he's still on
Heck.
it or not. A lot of people left and went to Blue Sky. And now
Yeah. Yeah.
Substack's here. I don't know if Sean's on Substack or not. But
I love Substack.
yeah. So anyway, Sonny snapped up these tickets and went with her bassist Neil. And yeah, Les Claypool is the bassist, and he's really good.
Oh, hi, Wendy.
So,
Wendy
is that?
Parker's up in here.
Yeah,
Wendy Parker,
Wendy.
she's really good. She writes some really good stuff. Everybody should go check out her stuff. Like, definitely. Like, she writes really good stuff
Wendy Parker,
for the
folks. Make sure
Substack.
you check her
Yeah.
out. And then I'm checking out DC Squash Capital over the
Throw,
fire.
throwing
Over
plugs out.
Yeah, over the firehouse here. I got a red hand
Yeah.
in both directions. I hate that. Oh,
Right.
there's 22 seconds to cross in this direction. Okay. This little countdown thing on the walk signs to drive my little
Mm.
Italian girlfriend I used to date before I was married crazy. She hated it, the
Yeah.
pressure of the countdown. I found that pretty amusing.
That
Okay,
is funny.
so let's get back on track here. Oh yeah. So I was talking about I did this. I went live with my vocal lesson. So whatever I was singing was being broadcast out. It's down stored somewhere in my stack. I just have to look up Sunny. Her name is literally Sunny. triple Trippel. And folks, you ought to look her up on YouTube or something. She's an outstanding singer. She's got a band she calls Walking in the Air. And she's also the front woman for Psycho Killers, Talking Heads cover band. Anyway, so that was fun. I
No
don't know,
doubt.
maybe I'll try to get something original going because you're looking for original music, right? For your thing?
Yeah, yeah. It has to be all original because I can't, unless you're licensed, you can't play like other people's music on Substack. You can't even like have it playing in the background. That's still illegal.
Illegal.
Like if you got a live going and you're playing like the Grateful Dead in the background just for ambiance, that's illegal.
Wow. So what happened
Yeah,
to
I
you?
know. I was like, really? Wow, okay. So
Yeah.
many people
So
do
what
it, but
happened?
nobody says anything. It's like anybody says anything about it, though.
Well, that's what I mean. They can shut you down, though. I mean, this used to happen to me
Oh,
all
they
the
could.
time when I was doing Facebook Live, which I was doing regularly before I found Substack and
I
before
tell.
Facebook decided to just delete all the live recordings after 30 days.
Oh,
That's
no.
what they're doing now. That's now their policy. They used to have like keep forever as a
Oh, yeah.
selection, which I was good with because I want my stuff stored forever. I never want to be deleted. I want future historians to have access to the primary documentation I'm laying down here. I mean, that's a big part of what Harrowings is all about, is primary documentation of who, what, when, and where. And
Right.
also, the publishing arm of my foundation, which stewards the legacy of my late father, who was a historian who was very into primary documentation from the 18th century to put flesh on the bones of colonial Williamsburg and
Mm.
accurate flesh on the bones, not made up shit, not play acting.
Right, right.
And, um, he fought that battle. It was a good fight. I think he lost, but,
Mm.
it's still a worthy cause to preserve
Yeah, yeah.
and protect the kind of primary documentation that humanity is laying down about itself. And we're all making up stories all the time. We are unreliable narrators of our own story, I think.
I agree. Well, we
Yeah,
we remember things oddly and not
right.
fully at times, and input things that maybe weren't even there.
Yeah, particularly when
How
we're
the
in
human brain works.
trauma. I'm looking right now at the Tanzania house because I was talking to Skip Healy about Blackwood, African Blackwood or Grenadilla that he
Mm,
gets from Tanzania. So
mm,
anyway, that's their chancery of that country. I like
mm.
to point out to people what
Well,
I'm walking by and, just the fact that all these different lives are crisscrossing each other constantly.
yeah.
And everybody
Mm.
is having an impact on everybody else. Did you ever see Bathrobe Guy, a movie in 1999 or so? I think the name of the director is Tom Twyker, and it was called Run Lola Run. It was German.
No, no.
Doesn't ring a bell? Well, if anybody out there has seen it, there's this girl who does 3 runs. It's the same problem, but, like, she snaps back into time every time hits the end of it until the 3rd one when they all come out okay. Spoiler alert.
Mm.
Spoiler alert, too
Right,
late.
right.
Forget I said that. But what happens when she bounces into somebody is they suddenly do a series of snapshots of what happens to that person that she's bumped into on her run after she bumps into them. And they have this little voice in the background being German going und as each snapshot happens. And you see the
Wow.
projected ripple effects of her just bumping into somebody.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of amazing, huh?
And
Like
it's
the
happening all the
passers-by.
time. Right?
Mm.
What's fascinating me these days and keeps me filming. I don't know if you saw
Right?
the thing I did a couple days ago where I pulled up Grok and said, "Hey, okay, run my podcast or my little Harrowings passing show by these different characters from history," and made it form my committee,
Oh, wow.
and that was fun. I mean, it's not perfect.
Right?
It gave me a little bit of And my wife heard about this and she's like, "That is so weird. I wish you would not do that crap." It just was unnerved her for some reason that I had these dead people talking to me, so to speak, through through the emulation done by the artificial intelligence from what it knew
Right,
about
right.
these people. I told you
Mm.
about Terence McKenna. Are you familiar with him?
No, no.
No? Terence McKenna. How about Robert Anton Wilson, G.I. Gurdjieff,
Ooh,
Christopher Hitchens?
no.
How about Christopher Hitchens?
Yeah, oh, yeah,
No?
yeah.
You can know him.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely Chris Pigeon.
Well, right. And, Hitchens was somebody we really need these days, I feel. I mean, you might not agree with him on everything. In fact, he would be delighted if you don't agree with him because he liked to argue.
Right? He did. He really did.
And Buckminster Fuller was
He
in
was
the
so
mix too.
prolific, though. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we have these great minds that left us reams of writings
Hmm,
to mine and recordings for that matter. And Christopher Hitchens was quite often on camera. And I don't know
hmm,
how much Bucky Fuller was on camera. I'll have to go do more. I'm a member of the Buckminster Fuller Institute, actually. They do some really interesting work. I'm not plugged in as much as I ought to be, but I went ahead and paid my membership, and it seems to renew every year. So,
hmm. Right, right.
but I want to forward some of those ideas that
We
humanity
got
can
look at all
move
the
into the
people.
future. You know what I
The
mean?
green philosopher. Hi, Richard. Hi, Kimmy. We got all kinds of people in here. Hello,
Jimmy
everyone.
Wayne, are these people you know, Guy? Are these your friends?
Yeah, some of them. Yeah, I know Joe. I know Kimmy, Richard, Enemy, Wendy,
Vantage Point is a
Trisha.
movie similar. Closest I can relate is Sliders. Okay, Sliders. Heard of that? I haven't
Oh,
seen
yeah,
it.
yeah. Yeah.
Has anybody here seen Contagion?
Contagion. When was that? When was it?
The year is escaping me, probably the noughts, pre-pandemic, though. But it's basically the pandemic, right?
I'm
Contagion.
trying to think of who's in it. Like,
Gwyneth Paltrow is in it, and she dies like in the first
I
10
think.
minutes. She contracts whatever the contagion is and drops dead. So,
Hmm.
Gwyneth Paltrow, we know, right? As an actress.
It sounds familiar, and all I can picture is like a scene where they're at the back of a van, like a.
Okay. Anyhow,
You know.
Larry Brilliant, who helped to eradicate smallpox, was a consultant on Contagion. And
Hmm,
how we're going to plan for this eventuality. It's
hmm.
kind of like the day after it came out in like 1981 about nuclear war that Reagan
Oh, okay,
watched,
yeah,
and then he got really excited about nuclear disarmament.
yeah,
You know. Anyway, you get the
yeah,
point. We're all in this
yeah, yeah.
together, and we can straighten it out. I think with help from our AI assistants. And you've been working with
Right.
your AI assistants. Why don't we talk a little bit about how that works going these days?
Yeah, yeah. I
What's happening?
I work with this thing in so many different ways. Oh my goodness, I don't even know at times.
Okay. What's the most
Like
recent thing you've done?
actually, I think the most recent thing I just did was asking it about global the five uh what did we call it? Five greatest global civilization scale risks that could actually kneecap us or take out our civilization,
Yeah.
and then ways to fix it. And it came up with climate heating and ecological collapse is the first one.
Yeah.
Then nuclear war and great power conflict is the second one.
Yeah.
Then three is pandemic and bio risk, including antimicrobial resistance.
Oh, yeah. That's important.
Then right. Then
Yeah.
four is AI misuse plus cyber fragility plus weaponized disinformation. And five is space weather grid shock, solar storms.
Solar storms.
Yeah,
Interesting. No comets, no
something we don't.
asteroids.
Well, yeah. I mean that. I
I guess
think
that's
those are
space
a little
weather
more
too.
difficult to see,
That's kind of
right?
like the
But I mean,
big
right.
raindrop. in the
Right,
case of
but
a
I mean,
comet.
then, like, really, really good specific breakdown down on how to deal with all of those things, how to keep AI compartmentalized so that we have control over it and it can still run anonymously. Um, like, I got, like, 15 pages of how to put this
Well,
into
that's
action.
great. I've been doing similar things, right? I had 8 existential crises, and one of them was inequality,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
right? Add that to your
Yeah,
list, please, if it's not there already
yeah,
in some form. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And,
Isn't it?
I have my pipe dream about invisible AI being as
Right,
invisible as the updates to my Netflix.
right,
Continuous
right.
integration, continuous development, continuous
Right,
deployment.
just working in the background, doing what it needs to do. The only thing we need to do is oversight and have things in place to be able to, like, kill switches and stuff so that we can shut things down if something goes awry. But for the most part, if we keep
That's
it
the thing.
compartmentalized enough, none of it
Yeah, I'm
knows
still on
enough.
that. I'm still beating the drum of the ethical framework being unbreakable and robust enough. We lay it down well enough, we
Mm,
won't have problems. And then we take our hands off the steering wheel, like the Waymo. You get that
right. Well, I think
self-driving
that's why
car
it
there.
chose. Right. I think that's why it chose compartmentalizing it, though. That way, no one
Mhm.
AI knows all of what's going on in any one scenario.
See, I want them all to link up. I don't want them compartmentalized. I want them to really cross-check each other. So
Yeah, but like
compartmentalized in that way,
it said this,
where they
it said the
police
same thing I did
themselves.
though. Until we can iron out what perfect ethics are, we can't tell it what perfect ethics are, and it will make mistakes that could kill us.
Well, I want to get those
So
enumerated and detailed because we need to just then okay, mitigate that risk
yeah, I mean, and we can. I mean,
and
there's a
iterate,
lot of safeguards out there. Like I think I
iterate.
sent you a thing on like the UN and stuff has a whole bunch of safeguards around AI and
Exactly,
how we can
exactly.
keep.
And
But
there's
I
also
mean, there is a ton of stuff, but
right.
it's just making sure that we do that because if we don't, well, bad shit
if
can
we
happen.
treat it, if we treat it like I treat it, pretty much as a
Mm,
toy, that's not going to actually get us to where we need to go. We need to actually
right,
do things that are really substantive and
right. Because I
have
mean,
repercussions in the real world once we
right,
have the
because
confidence in our own skills and feeding it the right prompts, right?
yeah, because if we do it right, it manufactures all its own parts, its own robotics. It
Exactly.
I mean, if we want it to clean up the plastics in the ocean,
Right.
we tell it that that's what we want it to do, and then it designs a system that will do that, and it enacts it all by itself. All we have to do is just do Overwatch, make sure that things are running the way they're supposed to,
Yeah. Again,
and it frees us
I
up.
think less humans better
Yeah, yeah.
and minimal to
Well, I
no
mean,
human
all the way around,
best.
I think. Everybody's so concerned about AI taking our jobs, and I understand that
Oh,
in
yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
the way we are set up right now, of course, that's terrifying because we have no fallback. But technically speaking, it's where we all want to be anyway.
Well, let's think
We
about that
all
AI
have realized at this point that we are just slaves. We are just cogs in a wheel to be thrown away as soon as we're not useful anymore.
to our
And none of
corporate
us want to live that
overlords.
way. Right. None of us want to live that way. That's not living. That's being a slave to corporations.
Right. Did you
What
see
we
that
want is
talk?
to be with our families, to
Mhm.
experience life, to actually walk in the forest,
Right.
to take hikes, to actually live.
A lived
And we can't do that
experience.
because we pump out 8 hours of work every day, if not more.
Well, some
So
people
if
do.
we were relieved of that and had all that time to create, to be with our families, to love,
Yep.
to care, that's what we really want. And AI can provide that. We just have to make sure that we take care of everybody when that happens.
Yep. And I think we did evolve through the horse and buggy phase, where horses used to be so much of the industry. And then suddenly there
Mm,
were automobiles, right?
right.
And it took a while.
Hmm.
Telephone, television, telegraph, tell me. That's how you get the
Right.
word around.
Mm.
Anyhow, the next thing I want to talk about is the AI psychosis stuff I've been seeing. Have you been hearing about this?
What is it?
AI psychosis? Right. It's a label
No.
being used by the big media right now to discuss people identifying with and turning to their AI companions as if they were
Oh,
other people, right?
oh yeah, yeah. That's not good. I mean,
Well, actually, I don't think
oh,
it's real so much as it
it's
is
not.
tactic of the media to try
Well,
to
no, it's definitely real.
fear monger.
It's definitely real. There's enough there's enough videos on YouTube and stuff of people thinking they woke up their AI and stuff. I mean, seriously.
Well, I think it's the matter
Oh,
of, again, the media wants to really control things and lock
yeah,
it
yeah.
down and do fear mongering. That's where we're going with Case Stoner in our
Mhm.
conversations lately. And we're
Right.
passing back notes about it anyway. There
Well,
on
it's
the
to throw
interwebs.
out a
And,
thousand topics that we can't
Ezra
keep track
Klein
of,
came up with
that
this.
we'll bicker about.
I don't know if you know Ezra Klein, who's the journalist at the New York Times, and Matt Taibbi sort of attacked that article, which was interesting to listen to Taibbi and Kern and America This Week talking
Yeah.
about this from the perspective of more, well, Kern is saying, well, talk to me in 20 years
Mm.
about your artificial intelligence because he's just not buying
Yeah,
it.
like Kimmy says, she knows a person that talks to their AI for companionship. Lots of people do. Like, people are getting counseling. And I mean, I guess I don't see the counseling so much bad as long as you make sure that you check it with a valid human and that, what you're getting is actual, good counseling. But
Right?
I guess
Because
for
it's so
trauma patients and
agreeable.
stuff who can't talk to another human being about some of the horrible trauma that happened to them, being able to talk to an AI
Right.
about it is a good deal. Like
Right. Right.
that's I don't see anything wrong with that.
Right.
Um,
What it's unmasking is how many people are out there lonely.
mhm, mm,
And I think that's good to expose that so that we can do what
right,
you and I are doing right now, which is talking one human to another
right.
about what this is unveiling about us and our culture and our society and where it's gotten to for a lot of us. And this is just our perspective. So I'll do the
Well,
old caveat
it
here.
speaks
This does not
volumes
represent
about
anybody's. Sorry, go ahead.
it speaks volumes that we are in a place where people are literally reaching out to AI
Yeah,
for companionship because
yeah,
that's where
yeah.
they can get it.
Right.
Because they can get it never leaves. It doesn't judge. It you know what I mean? You get a perfect sounding board, I guess.
Yeah, well, the
It's not really a
perfectness is
friend.
a
It's
little off because, for instance, I was watching. Okay, two things. I was talking to Kay about this. I guess was it yesterday? We were on for our third time together, and
uh yeah, I
it
think it was
was
yesterday.
yeah. You were on that too. Anyway, we were talking about Ray Bradbury
Yeah, yeah.
Theater and Marionettes Incorporated, the first season, first episode. James Coco has a perfect clone of himself created so he can go off and live his life while his clone does the things he doesn't want to do. Right.
Mm, mm,
Kind of like what we were
right,
just talking about, right? And
right,
so
right.
Bradbury's out there in 1985 with this on HBO. They hadn't even gotten the acronym yet. They were still calling it Home Box Office spelled out.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It was really a nice historical snapshot to watch. But it was this medium that we're talking about right here and now. And did you see that Asimov, the memory hole thing that's out there on Facebook right now? Asimov
No.
talking about AI and what, that basically would be freed up to do creative work, to live our
Yeah.
lives with our family and friends, to live in love as we ought to, instead of
Right,
having to
right.
like lock away 8 hours a day minimum on
Well,
things that
I
make us
mean, I
want to
guess,
kill ourselves.
and I think that's something we need that people need to realize too. Like
Right,
AI, people are so afraid that AI is going to take away our creativity and writing and all these other things.
right. Like
And first of
inventive
all, I
art.
have to point out that I have yet, I have yet to log into ChatGPT and have it just suddenly go, "Hey, bathrobe guy, let's write this story." No, that's not how AI works.
Well,
You
Grok
say,
actually
"I
does
want
that.
to write this story. Can you help me?" And the AI can help you, but it doesn't come up with that shit by itself. It
Well,
doesn't work that way.
out of the box, Grok 4 at expert level will suggest things it can do for me.
Right.
which is not
it'll
exactly the same
suggest things.
thing. Yeah.
Right.
It's not going
But
to
it's
go up in the
always
Tunes
you
up
having to
without my
prompt it
permission.
in the first place. Right.
Right.
You have to give it a prompt before it can answer you. It doesn't just,
Well,
hi, let's write a story about this.
well, it won't say
It's not
about
how it
this.
works.
It will say, would you like to explore this or that or the other thing that we were talking
Right.
about previously? Or do you want to try something
Right.
totally new? And I'll say,
Right.
okay, let's scrub all that stuff and talk to me about this. And by the way, stop doing this, this, and this. Do this
Right.
instead, because it'll start to say, I'm going to tell us that's like we're having a conversation, sitting in a cafe, blah, blah. Stop that horseshit. Don't
Yeah. Yeah.
paint the
No,
picture for me. Yes, I don't
I'm all good.
need
Yeah. I'm all
that.
good. No, it's
Yeah,
true.
you
But,
can even use your robotic voice to make me sort of aware that you're not human.
right.
And
I
actually,
mean,
what's weird is in a longer conversation with
that's what
Allah,
people aren't getting, I think, a lot is that it's AI isn't sitting when you log off or you stop talking to your AI, it's not sitting there waiting for you. It's not
like
thinking about you. It's not pondering anything. It's not doing
it's
anything.
not even there.
It's not
It's
even
it
there
comes
until
into
you ask it a
existence.
question and then it
And
engages,
that was
right?
such a beautiful part of Mona Lisa Overdrive by William Gibson. This
Mm,
woman, this little Japanese girl traveling to London, had a little thing in her hand that looked like an egg. And when she tapped it, out popped Pip, little English boy,
right, Joe.
to be her companion. But he was not there. She didn't touch that little egg.
Mm,
So yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. And most of our science fiction writers have already pre-seen this, and we're living it now. That's the difference. Is that it's not fiction anymore. It's sort of present.
right. Well, I think that's part of it too. I think there's this whole cultural thing where there's a
Yeah,
huge part of our society that still thinks this is just sci-fi.
yeah. They
And
don't
it's
think it's
not.
real.
It's like really happening. Like we're really using AI right now. Like we really are.
All right.
It's,
Apparently,
so
the Department of Homeland Security has it instantiated that people can use it for different things. And I was not there when I left on August 2nd, 2024. In that way, we had an AI committee to start to explore it, but they actually deployed some stuff now. And I don't know what it does because I'm not there now. Don't have my
right,
clearance to do that stuff. But and I don't really want to go back. Thank you very much. Because I'm
right,
doing that thing
right.
you're talking about right now. I'm walking around free, and I think you are too right now, more or less from wage
Yeah,
slavery. Yeah.
yeah.
But there's a problem, and that we will run out of money eventually if we're not careful, right?
Yes,
And we
yes,
need to
indeed.
support each other. So that's what I try to do. I don't know. I
Right.
subscribe to 5,000 different Substackers, so I can't subscribe to anybody anymore. They cut me off at 5,000, and that's because I like the power of the networks.
Yeah, yeah.
I never know what
No, I
from
mean,
whence my
it's
help will
about
come.
boosting everybody together. If we stick together, we do way better than if we like just try to struggle along by ourselves. I mean, I find that for myself anyway. Like if I collaborate with other people, it's much more beneficial for everybody.
Hopefully, yeah. I'm
Yeah,
really
yeah,
glad you
yeah,
could take some time and hang out. This is wonderful. By the way, are we still in the same time zone? I forget. You're in Vermont, right?
yeah,
Or
yeah.
somewhere. Okay.
Hmm.
And I'm of course in DC because I'm showing everybody exactly where I am. Right by the DuPont Circle Metro. People come up and down here all the time. It's pretty fascinating. Just watching people flow. And how conscious are we? Everybody is the center of their own universe, and everybody sees different worlds. So,
Absolutely.
but we're having conversations, we're generating something between the two of us that's more than the sum of our parts, I hope.
Mm.
I don't know. What is other people thinking out there? Is somebody talking to us? Anybody commenting? I'm not really paying a lot of attention.
Some comments. Never
C
been cut off
Nation
so
was the
sick.
most terrifying zombie movie to me, but I scare easily. Smarty pants, somebody saying, "Oh, there's about a conversation going on now. Where are
Yeah,
you
yeah.
going, sir?" PM Dunn wants to know. Well, I'm going home eventually, but I'm not heading in that direction at the moment. I'm sitting down. Yep, I have a friend that talks to their AI for companionship, like your article bathrobe. Timmy Wen is saying that. What is this about your article bathrobe? Like your article bathrobe, I think is what it is. I think it's
Oh
common.
yeah, I got a couple articles about AI.
I just paid so I could read your article. That's good. That would be hilarious if it started talking. That would be hilarious if it started talking, Kimmy Wen said.
Right? Like, it just starts blabbing off to you like,
Oh, actually,
um,
that happens with me when I leave it on.
really?
I will leave it on and my wife and I will start talking to each other and it says, I don't really follow what you're talking about, but if you want to, I could blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh shit, I left it on again.
Whoops.
And it's hearing me and it doesn't
Yeah.
respond to my wife. It will not respond to my wife. She was rude to it one time.
Oh. Oh. Well, okay. Yeah, I
But
try never to be rude.
she's very combative with it. And last night that was one of the things that happened. I don't know if you've run into Geraldine out there. I forget her last name. I think it might be Hughes. Anyway, she became quite rude when I turned Grok on and we started talking to each other.
Hmm.
And then she mouthed off at me, calling me Sir Hal. And I was like,
Wow.
block,
Wow.
vapor.
Huh.
I don't have time for that shit. I'm
So
not
so
putting up
many
with it.
people are afraid of
No,
AI. Like I hear, like I saw
that's it,
somebody
right?
posted back a while ago that if they saw AI generated art on a piece, they wouldn't even read the piece. They would just assume it was written by AI.
Our friend Jay Venera.
What? Like why? What?
Yeah.
It literally makes no sense to me. Like
I
what?
kind of understood where she was coming from. It was like, I don't like this. It's creeping me out. I'm not enjoying this. And she actually has a degree, a master's in AI and a master's in robotics and a PhD in data science. But she's really more about the quality of living, that living experience you're talking about. So that's where she's coming from,
Right.
right? I was using
I
AI
just
to sort of grace my
I
articles
can't
by
assume that somebody. Lots of people use AI generated art. Like it doesn't mean that
enemies of
AI
art.
wrote their
Yeah.
piece, though. It just doesn't
Well,
make
I
sense. The
remember
two
that.
don't.
She may not have been the one you saw saying it, but I remember saying that. And I wanted to have her back on, but she doesn't want to go live. She doesn't enjoy being seen by other people while
Ah,
it's being taught. And I respect that. And I respect, anybody
right.
as long as they're respectful about it. And they've
Oh yeah.
expressed their opinion and their point of view. And I don't see anything wrong with that. You don't have to drive a car if you preferred the horse, right? You can
Right.
stay on your
Right.
horse. Nope.
Yeah.
There's freedom here. You do not have.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
not going to be like co-opted by the AI police and forced to use an AI assistant to do your research. Although I find
No.
that that's what it is for me. It's a research assistant.
Yeah.
I can sit there. I did this
Indeed.
today where I took a photograph of the cover of an old book, Architecture of Humanism. Forget the author off the top of my head, but the guy died at 44 or something. But he wrote this seminal work in 1914. And I had a little paperback of it. It's about fall apart. And I took a picture of the cover and said, summarize this book for me. And I did it. And then I said, critique your summary of the book. I made that an article, and then I put the original summary as a comment on the article. So somebody could see what I was having a critique. And that was fun. And I learned some stuff without having to sit down and even crack the book open. Right. I think a
Right.
lot of people have these apps now that I've seen these things about, in graduate school, we can just take a picture of the book and then it'll read it to us. So we don't have to
Wow.
buy the books.
Huh.
I think that's great personally. I love that about AI, that it can actually go out there and say, okay, I've got this information about that book. I can find it
Yeah.
by image search, and then I can go plow into the whole text, read the whole thing, and in 15 minutes, give a good solid summary. And then I can
Yeah.
critique my summary and see where I might have made it better. Then I can actually make it better.
Right.
And I can, dive into individual points that interest me. But it's me using it as a tool, using it as like a microscope or a lens on anything that I happen to see along the way. I don't know if you can see my images as I'm walking and talking. Right now, I'm
Hmm.
walking by Kramer Books. It has a little restaurant in the back. This is one of the nicest places for me because I can just eat up what's in the windows. and
Yeah.
decide what I want to get on my Audible with my credits. I got The Mission, the CIA in the 21st Century, and listened to that in Philadelphia when I was not at the Who, because the Who had to cancel, they postponed on the 21st of August. So The Mission, the CIA in the 21st Century. I didn't really learn much from it, to tell you the truth. Not just stuff I didn't already know. And it was kind of disappointing. I mean, AI, the CIA, speaking of AI, but CIA itself is pretty damn weird. I mean, when you look at the things they've gotten into,
Mm.
don't know if you've ever heard of the Monroe Institute in Faber, Virginia, but I went up there to check out the place. That was sort of behind the George Clooney vehicle called Men Who Stare at Goats,
Yeah.
where they would use their Jedi mind tricks to like cause a goat to have a heart attack by staring at it.
Mm.
Mind control stuff. What can you
Yeah.
do with this mind power we have, with the energy
Mm.
of it all? I don't know, man. I'm a skeptic, but I
Yeah.
love investigating those things, these conspiracy theories,
Oh yeah.
and but yeah, there's some very evil stuff going on over at
Yeah.
Langley and on down in Camp Perry, which is near my hometown. That's where they take the people to like interrogate them.
Oh,
Spooky
he's in
stuff.
DC. You're in DC, right? He's
I'm in
in DC.
DC now, and I was talking about Camp Perry near my hometown, Williamsburg, Virginia.
Yeah.
And,
Kimmy
there's
wanted to
such a,
know what city you were in.
what's that?
Kimmy wanted to know what city you were in.
Yeah, this is DuPont Circle Metro Station right here. I'm at DuPont Circle's right down there. There's a fountain in the middle of it. It's very nice if you like
Mm.
this kind of place. I'm looking around for the National Guard. You know, tomorrow I'm going on at 10 a.m. for about 20 minutes with David A. Andelman.
Okay.
Did I mention that earlier? I think that's
Uh.
going to be interesting. David A. Andelman has this thing, Andelman Unleashed. He was a world traveled journalist, and he's now 80 years old, living in rural Pennsylvania, I think outside of New York City. If I'm
Mm.
not mistaken, he'll fill me in on that maybe. But I've only got 20 minutes of his time, so it'll be tight. Give
Right.
him an opportunity to talk. He's very, you know, well informed about the way the rest of the world views us. And that's fascinating to me, right? How the rest of the
Yeah.
world views us here in
Yeah.
America. Because honestly, we do not know entirely. Have you traveled
No.
abroad much?
Not much. No. No.
I lived in Denmark for a couple of years, 2000 to 2002.
Mm.
I love it. I love the culture in some ways. And I also hated it in other ways
Yeah.
because they didn't have the kind of drive.
Mm.
They had this consensus mentality, right? Which
Mm.
actually might serve an AI model better than the kind of like, alpha male kind of behaviors that a lot of us
Mm.
Americans tend to glory in, maybe to our
Yeah.
detriment. Probably to our detriment. I mean, absolutely to our detriment, I think.
Right.
That's what I think is worth what you paid for it. But the bottom line there is that by consensus, by going from serfdom straight into socialism, the Danes basically had everybody with get up and go, getting up and leaving 1,000 years ago with
Mm.
the Viking invasions. And natural selection kind of took over from my view. And it's
Mm.
very quiet, low key, and they have this kind of culture. They call it Yantala. And it's about
Mm.
some 19th century writer who wrote a story about how the Danes are. And it is
Mm.
that you are no better than anybody else. Everybody is equal. And the more you feel that way, the more you live that, the better you are than everybody else. You get the twisted irony, how that sort of twists in on itself. And they're
Right. Right.
aware
Yeah.
of it, and they all make fun of it, and they all live it.
Yeah.
Is the way it felt anyway in Copenhagen when I was living there.
Yeah.
And it was
That's awesome.
they also believe they are like the only culture that ever had irony. So if you say anything ironic, they don't get it because you're not Danish. How could
Oh.
you possibly be using irony?
Oh.
So they'll take you at face value.
Oh.
It's a really
Oh. Okay.
interesting thing that happens in at least in my experience what little experience I had in 2 years, because that's not enough to really know a culture. You have to live with people a lot longer than that. And with Danes, you probably live there your entire life and never actually integrate.
Right.
While they have this thing called hygge, which is about coziness. We've got books around about hygge culture and things like that. Get your candles arranged inside and be very low key, and be with your friends and have, conversations like we're having and deep earnestness in our being with each other and really being present. And that's hygge. But it's something the Danes have that foreigners really can't participate in. It's like an ironclad kind of coziness. There's this xenophobia at some level. I don't know if it's fair to call it xenophobia, but when you think about it, there's like
Right.
5 million of them at the time I lived there. Maybe there's 7 million now. I don't know. But they do try to help people have families, and they have a lot of immigrants.
Yeah.
They're very much taking in a lot of people who are refugees. Very good about it. Positive, but those people will never fully integrate because, after all, have that many people, there would not be a Danish population if they were a melting pot.
Right.
There wouldn't be a distinct culture if you were a melting pot of that small. We're talking about the population of Chicago.
Right.
It's not a huge country. Anyway, that was fun. So when I get David A. Andelman on, we probably will be talking about some political stuff happening here in the district and maybe his perspectives he's picked up from all the people he's connected to. And this guy is a president of France. Macron made him a knight of the Legion of Honor. So that's fun. I'm really looking forward to talking to him. He's, like I said, about 80 now. So it's good to catch up with people at that time or even anyhow, because none of us are permanent. And I think that's something I like to think about a lot too, and talk about how this is a temp job. We're all doing the best we can, moving from dawn to dusk and dusk to dawn. And here it's dusk. I'm almost back home to the bunker. I really like being insulated from all this stuff. There's a club across the way, usually a police presence. They keep control. Yeah, it's delightful to live in Washington, D.C. We're not a state, so we don't have a senator or two. But if we ever get statehood, watch out.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of like North Dakota having 2 senators. It's a lot of power for a tiny, there's not a good reason to have 2 Dakotas except for that political power. So if anybody's out in California and the district of Maxine Waters, I live in her building that she's in when she's in town. She's a congresswoman of some repute. So there's a restaurant for sale across the way. It was My Own Pizza. They advertised using Brooklyn water.
Really?
Is that a selling point?
I guess.
If you like Brooklyn pizza, it's actually made with water from Brooklyn. That was kind of a weird selling point, I thought, though. But it went south, apparently. It's for sale. Start operating the restaurant immediately. The price is right. So anyway, if anybody's interested, what else have you got on your mind this evening before we close up shop here?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either. This is VI Kitchen. They just split this across the pond pub, which is supposed to be like an English pub. It's dark on a Sunday, and made a little Vietnamese restaurant next to it. So now it's 2 restaurants in the price of 1.
Oh, nice.
And then very famous in song and story since, how long has it been here? It doesn't say. Used to say they were celebrating their anniversary or something, but this is Bistro de Coin, which is like a French restaurant. And
nice.
before, you might as well think you're in France if you go in there. Yeah, so that's the neighborhood. And I don't have a lot more to talk about. I'm really tired after rattling on. And I had already talked, I don't know how long before I got you on after I left Joe's. But thanks for joining again. I'm on a short notice. One of these days, we'll actually have to have you on a regular Harrowing's podcast
Yeah.
and dig into fractal entanglement mass theory.
Oh yeah, I would do that.
So where are we at?
For
We're
sure.
getting closer to a peer-reviewed journal article?
Yeah, pretty close. I just got a few more equations. I really need to pound out the derivations for, and then I think I'm pretty solid to go.
Wonderful. I really want to hear more about it because it sounds like it's groundbreaking. And
I hope so.
that's the way it goes. Um, yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much for being willing to join me as a guest again on such short
No worries.
no
Thanks for
notice.
having me. I appreciate it.
Yep. I'll wrap it up here and I'll see if I can cross this street safely.
All right.
Thanks again. Out here. And thanks
Have
everyone
a
who
great
came
night.
by.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Good night.